I really do feel like I've done this like 3 or 4 times already. But I guess until I get to the point where people already kind of know who I am or what I do, I gotta keep doing it every so often. So it is what it is. All right, check the camera. Camera's good. All right. Probably should have did this before we got there. I can edit this out. My name is Isaiah Bragg. I have a company called Double Edge Productions. I make music. I am mainly producer, but I am a rapper. I write my music. Sometimes I'll help people with their songs if they want it, if they need it. I'm also an engineer, mix engineer, recording engineer. And yeah, that's who I am, and that's one of many things I do. Why should you, the viewer, care about the music I make when there is literally in 2023 an entire sea or ocean of people who make music, who are rappers or singers or producers or engineers or some form of A&R or whatever the case is? To be all the way honest with you, I can't answer that question for you. Me telling you why you should care about the music I make, and me being one of many people who are not the most present or not heard of at this particular point, it really does nothing. But what I can sit there and say is, in 2023, amongst this sea or ocean of different musicians, artists, producers, singers, engineers, etc., etc., even at this particular age of 39 years old, I am one of the people out here, known, unknown, that really gives a damn about the music I make, really puts all of his energy and effort into making the best music he possibly can. As a rapper, I put the same energy in rapping as I do my productions. I think I'm a really good writer. I come from the heart with what I discuss, and I do a lot of thinking, and I put a lot of time and energy and effort into what I'm trying to say, word selection. I try not to go over the top, but I also don't want to dumb it down or keep it so simple that it seems like it's too easy to do. I'm still one of those that believes hip hop and the art of rapping within hip hop is a skill and a craft. And just like the best athletes, actors, the best engineers, the best doctors, we all should be striving to do something and master it in such a way that looks easy, but never is. And so for me, what I can sit there and say is, because I do give 100% in everything I write, because I do give 100% in every note or every sound selection that I make, because I do put 100% into everything as far as balancing and mixing when it comes to me doing music, I think that in itself is something to continue to check for. I also think my perspective on things, though it's very much shared with a lot of other people, my perspective and my view of it could come from a different place than most other people who speak on the same stuff. Sometimes it's detailed, sometimes it's very simple, sometimes it's vague, sometimes it's complex, sometimes, it just varies. But it just depends on the mood and the perspective I'm sharing and how much information I have on the subject. And I think that's another thing about me, because I learned from other rappers and other MCs before me. I'm not afraid to rap about a variety of other topics other than just the same old ones that you're used to hearing. And there's nothing wrong with rapping the same old ones you're used to hearing. But I want to challenge myself as a writer. If I'm going to rap, I want to challenge myself as a rapper to try to do it in different cadences, flows, techniques, styles, but also different subjects and topics. It doesn't always land. It's not always something that's going to be a Billboard hit or something that's uber catchy or popular or something that plays at the party or at the club. But that's not really my concern. My concern is for me to continue to challenge myself and try to be the best producer, artist, rapper, engineer that I possibly can on a day-to-day basis. And if the people that grasp it, that's essentially the goal. We just hope and pray that more and more people grasp it as it goes. I probably said this once before, but I'll just throw this on record now. My 5 favorite MCs, rappers, in no particular order, are Tupac, Jay-Z, Lupe Fiasco, Missy Elliott, and Kendrick Lamar. 5 favorite producers in no particular order. It's hard for me to sit there and realistically say, but let's say Dre, Dr. Dre, DJ Quick, the Neptunes as one collective, Timbaland, and 5 is difficult because I go back and forth between Just Blaze and Manny Fresh. But that's just me. And I try not to compare myself to other MCs, but I've gotten different lists of different MCs I'm comparable to in other people's eyes or in other people's ears over the years. At one point I had heard LL Cool J. I had a review done of a song of mine a few years ago, and it's a long, lengthy list. But some of those people were, J. Cole or Kendrick, Rhapsody, Common, Talib, Kweli, T.I. was in there, Jeezy was in there. So it kind of varies, but to a degree it makes sense because I started off so heavy on hip hop in the late 80s to early 90s. So mostly hip hop from the East Coast. So a lot of my style comes from that, from having heard that so much and studied that so much. But then being originally from San Diego, California, there's so much of the West Coast in you too. And then having spent some time in Grambling, Louisiana for a little bit, and then eventually picking up on different people from the South. And even though I was a little later with different artists from the South, having more of an appreciation from people from the South as well, and then living in the Midwest, what it comes down to at the end of the day for me is I'm more of a person that just likes really good music and people who are really good at what they do. So you don't necessarily have to be the most technically skilled or the best rapper. You don't have to necessarily have the greatest cadence or the greatest flow in order for me to like your music. But I tend to gravitate towards people who take things that are really difficult and make it look easy, because it challenges me to try to do the same thing. And musically, from a production side of things, it's very much the same way. There's a lot of other producers, a lot of other MCs, rappers, singers, artists that I really like, but those tend to be my favorite, and those tend to be the ones I try to study time and time again. And it tends to show in my work and in my craft. All right, that's that one.